Well, I guess that's it for Castlevania 2, unless you guys have anything to say. Otherwise, we can move on to, I don't know, John or Joey.
Yeah, I'll go. All right. This would be a good one. The game that I have a problem with, and I'll stand by the title of this podcast.
Wait, brace yourselves, everybody. Make sure those doors are closed.
Well, I'm looking forward to the response. But for me, it's Final Fantasy VII. Yeah! Also known as Lego Final Fantasy.
Oh, it's a here.
So, okay, I do wish, like the title of this panel, I do wish that I loved this game, because if I did, I think that I would have been able to partake a little bit more in the 3D realm of gaming. I'm old enough to remember looking forward to the original Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy 2 and 3, as I still call them, because that's what it looked like when I opened my birthday gift that day. Final Fantasy VII, I think, really deviates significantly from what made Final Fantasy Final Fantasy. I mean, if you took Sid and a little musical sting during the battle and a chocobo and threw it in Grand Theft Auto 5, you might as well call it Final Fantasy VII, because this is a mid-90s anime fever dream. It's not really Final Fantasy. I mean, I understand its importance in the way it brought the West role-playing games and how they brought it to the forefront and allowed for the progression of this and Square into the realm that it is now. But when you look back at Final Fantasy VI or 3 for the Super Nintendo, it really was. You look at it now; it's still a work of art. Nobody says we have to remake Final Fantasy VI, but Final Fantasy VII is always sitting in there as that. Oh, we got to remake this. We got to remake this. And why? Because it didn't age very well. It looks.
The graphics are terrible. You got the horrible load times. It's the unskippable summons.
The incredibly inappropriate racial stereotypes.
Mr. T did not sign off on that at all.
So, I mean, you look back at it, and it changed the way things worked. And one of the key aspects of this game, or one of its values that always comes out, is the fact that when Eris died, sorry. What? Spoiler alert! Back in time. That was one of those first moments that made people cry in video games, and I think
Opera House.
The Opera House of Final Fantasy VI was a huge moment, but for me it was when Edward the Bard in Final Fantasy IV was playing the harp, and then he had to battle the dude that showed up in the town, and his fiance, who had just passed away, showed up and gave him the courage to go through. And I remember, I got the Super Nintendo Christmas in '91, and I got it with Final Fantasy II. It was a really great gift, and I remember opening the system and skipping over Super Mario World and popping in Final Fantasy II, and I played that for hours and hours. And when that scene showed up, I realized that as a medium, video games really could, bring you to an emotional spot. And I think Final Fantasy VII unfairly gets that credit, where I think Final Fantasy IV was one of the first to do it for me.
I guess there was less attention called to all of the character deaths in the previous Final Fantasies, where it seems like they kind of ignored those when the whole, Aerith, or is it Aerith? Aerith.
It's Eris in North America.
That's right. Yes? Okay, who cares?
It's Aerith in the graffiti.
People were sort of acting that was the only RPG cast member that ever died, but if you play Final Fantasy IV, like John was talking about, everybody died. They came back eventually, but it still kind of stung when they died, I'm sorry, Marty?
No, I agree with all of your problems with the game, but I still really like it. I think that's just, kind of places time. And I remember because, that was the game I got with my PS1, and just tearing through it some Christmas break, and really I think it was right before, it was before I became cynical and just judged the hell out of things. And so, I didn't care that the, characters were wildly deformed, or that their load times were insane, or that the story was absolutely incomprehensible.
Yeah, it was like the stories were still as incomprehensible as they were prior, except they gave it this more realistic sheen over it, realistic in quotes. But it just kind of really made it a little off-putting, I think, because of it, at least in my opinion.
Did you keep playing the PS1 Final Fantasies after that?
Oh, the continuing.
Eight, 9.
No, that was why I actually wish I loved this game, because I kind of abandoned it.
And maybe if you played those, see, I kind of disagree in that you say that this is the first, or this was, Final Fantasy VI was the last real Final Fantasy. Mm-hmm. I think Final Fantasy VII was the last quote-unquote real Final Fantasy. It still felt, the graphics were different, it was 3D, and it had a more modern element, but it still felt more like Final Fantasy 4, 5, 6 than 8, 9, 10 did to me. And it's like I said, this is the last one that felt like a real Final Fantasy. But then again, I have to give it a bunch of crap because it just ushered in this, what seemed like a decade of overly wrought JRPGs, incomprehensible storylines, you know, with Xenogears and stuff like that. Just the games that would be great if they didn't try to shove in as much philosophy and pop pseudo-intellectual whatever crap.
I mean, I can't think of an example from Final Fantasy VII, but it seemed like after this, the RPG philosophy was like, let's make up a bunch of words and use them as much as possible, and then people will think we know what we're talking about. I'm also talking about Tales of Games, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I was graduating high school when this game came out, so I was like, well, college, beer. I said, all right, 3D, I'm done. And I just started a retro game site, so now I'm going to PAX.
I see the connection.
Yeah. But again, I appreciate the game. I know where it fits in the cultural relevance of games, but sorry.
Did you see Advent Children?
Yeah, I watched a few minutes of it. I'm like, yeah, this is totally Final Fantasy.
Okay, I guess we can move on to Joey for our last, I guess, pick from our roundtable, and we'll move on to you guys.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say this is completely unfair because I don't like FPS games to begin with, but yeah, I just can't get into Halo.
He's getting standing O's for those people at home.
I mean, I've had my good friend Daniel, who's filming back there, who helped start Clan of the Grey Wolf website with me, try to get me into Halo, and he gives me the Xbox, and I'm playing it, and I'm like, I'm waiting to be wowed. You know, it's a space marine, and he's shooting things, and they're aliens, okay? Maybe this did it. No, but it didn't do it first. It's like Doom was the first one to do that whole storyline. I don't see why the story's great. I don't see why the graphics are okay, I suppose, for the time. They were good. But the gameplay doesn't seem especially innovative to me at all. It's just shooting. That's pretty much it. You're running your Dutch and you're shooting. That's it. That's like 1,000 FPS games out there.
It all looks like GoldenEye to me.
Yeah. I need a little bit something more to make it interesting. Yeah, I mean, I look back, and there are a few FPS games that I did like. GoldenEye was great, mainly because it wasn't just shooting people. You know, there was a lot of that, but you also had like mines to plant, or there's a little bit of stealth elements and things like that. And the follow-up, Perfect Dark, I liked less than GoldenEye because I thought there was less strategy. What? There was less strategy to it.
Fool me once.
Or if you look at later games like BioShock, which actually did add an interesting story and some thematic elements, and the whole things with the plasmids, you know, it added a little bit more than just shooting a gun and running around and killing aliens. I just can't get into Halo. And the multiplayer is fine. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just, why is it so awesome? Why is everyone...
I mean, just to contextualize it in history, if you remember, I know, FPS used to be, that's what you played on PC, and like, they were increasingly, like, I don't know, they were very complicated, where if you wanted to like crouch and lean in a PC game, you were holding like 4 keys at once, you know? You're like playing some weird kind of like making a cat's cradle on your keyboard or something like that. But I mean, Halo, and this is not an insult, and this is coming from someone who I just played Halo like in November for the first time and played through it. Like, it turned a complex game with a keyboard and a mouse, and I like keyboard and mouse games, don't get me wrong, but it turned that into sort of like a toy, where this button does that button does this, and these things move you, and that's basically all you need to know. And it's not like, oh, I'm playing Counter-Strike, so I need to like turn off all the graphics and make sure my frame rate's at 300 so I can get the headshot or whatever. You know, that's basically how I see it, but I mean, I understand, like, I didn't find the story interesting. I thought their idea about, like, let's make the enemies these interesting characters, except they're just a bland, proud race who doesn't use contractions, and that's like their defining quality. I don't get it, but like, that's how I see why it's important, and like, I agree with you, BioShock was way better, like, both mechanically and I like the story a lot more, even though it has its problems too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I can somewhat agree that, hey, Halo really popularized shooters on consoles for good or ill, but again, GoldenEye, like 4 years earlier, I thought that was the real introduction of the FPS to the console in a successful manner that previously only was on PC. But
The game really did legitimize the Xbox in that generation, though.
Oh.
It was their
yeah,
thing.
well, they had Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey.
I think you're forgetting about a little guy named Blinks.
The Time Sweeper.
I think they all forgot about him.
I really like Halo. I think this is the one entry of the four of ours that I think is just like factually wrong.
Gotcha.
I think like legitimately like the game or not, like what it did and what it tries to do, it does very well. It does just the core mechanic of running around and shooting things extremely well. And I mean, that was the game where they kind of coined the video games are doing. Creating 20 seconds of fun and repeating that over the course of a product. And really, I think that's, Halo nails. And I stopped playing the series after 2, but yeah, you were just not correct.
To me, it's 20 seconds of mediocrity repeated.
Oh my God.
Marty did say he was rage for the panel. He was completely friendly to Joey before this. They got to sit very far apart, I guess. So I guess we're done with Halo, and let's have our audience members come up. I guess we're gonna have 2 mics. Can we have the enforcers start 2 lines, maybe? I don't know where the mics are. I just know that they exist.
They're right here, and if you
Cool.
line up behind each projector.
And we're going to try to get through as many people as we can. We've got roughly half an hour, so please be mindful to your people in line behind you and try to be quick, and we will make fun of you as quickly as possible too. Also, like I said, feel free to yell at us for our choices as well.
Marty would lambast you.
Except mine.
So I guess we'll do the left side and then the right side and alternate between them. So why don't we have you in the gray shirt go first?
All right, I'm going to start off with a very obscure JRPG called Seven Saga.
Okay, are you saying this is a game that you wish you loved?
Yes.
I don't think you'll find anyone that would disagree with you. We have one person. There's always one. Please continue.
I mean, this RPG, you could pick one of 7 different characters with very distinct abilities. You had rooms that basically completely augmented your skill set, again, 7 times in the game. Futuristic science fiction, brilliant ideas, but way too hard. I mean, incredibly difficult, with basically bosses that matched your level and then killed you.
I mean, I read about it a lot on Nintendo Power, and then I heard it was very, very bad after that. It seemed like it was an RPG designed for latchkey kids. It's like, you don't have parents or love? Well, it's I was one of those kids, but I didn't like the Seven Saga.
Yeah. For the record, I hate games like Final Fantasy VIII. I hate games that have enemies that match your progress. That's not the point of an RPG, darn it. It's supposed to be if you put in the effort.
Why have I been grinding all day?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. You waste your life and you're rewarded by beating the game.
It's that simple. Thank you very much.
That's our tagline, by the way.
Let's move over here.
Hey,
Hello.
game that I wish I loved was Top Gun on the NES.
Oh,
yes.
I mean, I'll chip in on this, or chime in on this. What I remember about that game the most is really infuriating landing sequences.
Or the highly inappropriate refueling scene.
Can you explain to me why? I mean, I hope I didn't steal your fire there. That's all I can remember about that game.
Well, the reason I wish I loved it is because it put terrible movie games onto the market. It made them prevalent, and it ruined the consoles forever.
Wow.